back to the end of the comp section of the third round. So they wind up with Jordan Addison and then nobody else until the 101. And then a lot of the day 3 picks, which are just complete crapshoots.
I will say this, though. If I had told you going into last year that TJ Hawkinson was going to be your second round pick in 2023, you'd be pretty happy about it.
Easy.
So, like, I don't really have a problem with this. I have a bigger problem with getting too cute. And trading back in the third round is cute, but it's not too cute. Trading from 12 to 32 and then trading a pick that you got with the Packers to move back again, I think is too cute because you are passing up talent there. I think that this is much sounder with Hawkinson being your second round pick. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. We got it.
Okay.
We got it. Per Albert Wilson, the Vikings are taking USC corner. Is it Makai Blackman?
Oh, interesting. Okay, reuniting him with Jordan Addison. They can pack up their dorms together. They can drive up north together. So Blackman, so some people are going to see that as a reach. Me, not quite as much. I had him 113 on my board. There's a couple of those corners that I had a little bit higher on him, but I know why Flores is going to like him. That kid is really, really feisty. Really, like he gets after you on the field. He's like a little gnat. It's funny, the concerns that you have with him, it's sort of similar with Addison. It's just flipped to the other side. Mekhi Blackmon, he over the pre-draft process, 5'10" flat, 178 pounds. The athleticism, okay, but not elite, is 74 percentile. But I really like the way that kid plays the position. And he's cool being left out there on the islands as well. And by the way, last year, that kid was fabulous. Like, there's very few cornerbacks in this class that had like a 90-plus PFF grade in any of their years in college. Makai Blackmon did last year. And the concerns that the NFL had with him, like I said, it's just the other thing with Addison. It's just on the other side. It's like a mirror. He's smaller. The athleticism isn't elite. But he has proven that he can win in space, in isolation, at the highest level of college football. I'm down with that pick.
Too small here?
What's up?
Too small in this league? That's always my concern with corners, because you got to be really, really good if you're not 6 feet.
So he's 5'11", 178 is what he
probably means he's 5'10".
Clocks in at.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, Emmanuel Forbes, who went at number 16, makes Makai Blackmon look like he got to go to Livia.
Well, that's a great place to go to lose weight. livea.com if you want to find out more. Thank you, Thor.
I'm going to read you the PFF manifesto pros and cons with Makai Blackmon, and then I'll give
read
you
his stats to it, his coverage stats, if they got him in there from last year, because he was real good last year.
So he was. I'll give you some of the advanced data here. All right, we're going to break it down. Vikings new cornerback Makai Blackmon, who, by the way, his comp in the NFL is AJ Parker. I don't know if that means anything to anyone.
Okay.
So he finished 9th in college football with 16 forced incompletions. He was 25th with a 25% forced incompletion rate. So there you go. Yeah.
Football.
Let's see here. He had only 2 missed tackles all season. 70 tackles, only 2 missed tackles. His missed tackle rate was 2.8%, which is pretty darn good.
That's Brian Branster. Like, that's fabulous. Yeah.
And opposing quarterbacks completed just 47.6% of passes when throwing at Makai Blackmon. Also, only 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions when targeting Makai Blackmon. So some really good, interesting numbers.
He was awesome last year.
And some of the pros on him, I'm going to give you these from PFF. Thor, you tell us if they're right, wrong, or otherwise. He's a feisty corner who wants to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
He does. Yeah, he doesn't know how small he is. He doesn't.
He eliminates space between him and receivers well, gets right up on their hip to establish leverage.
Football. Yeah.
Okay. 5 seasons of playing time with 2,260 snaps to his name, so tons of experience in big-time college football, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, here's some of the bad stuff, some of the cons.
It's all size and athleticism stuff, I bet.
Slim frame after 5 years in college. That probably ain't changing.
For sure.
Right? He's not 19 years old anymore, so all right.
None of us are, Phil.
He has to grab to stick with route breaks. 7 penalties. So he's a little handsy.
Not good in this league. Got to coach that out of him, Brian Flores.
Got to coach him out.
No juice to get back to the catch point once he's given up ground. Not enough burst.
Yeah. Football. But he's not a terrible athlete, but I can see that.
You know what, though? I mean, the Vikings historically have done a great job finding great cornerbacks in the third round. Guys like Marcus McCauley, Asher Allen, Josh Robinson. So
I hate when they grab. You can't grab. In this league, you're dead if you grab now. Thor knows that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, we're reaching.
Yeah, he's a fighter. Right, like it's the Anchorman fight scene out in the alley every time he's getting a guy off the line. Like
Hanky's flying all over the field because he's a fighter.
No, for sure. But Flores loves that stuff. I bet Flores had been talking to Kwesi the last couple of weeks, like take Blackman, take Blackman, take Blackman. He wants those guys to fight you off the line. That's right. Brian Flores football.
Well, I like it.
You're gonna love that kid.
Within 5 yards, I like it.
Here's another interesting thing. So last year at USC, he played. Let's see here. So 805 snaps out wide, only 3 snaps in the slot. Yet, based on his size, Pro Football Focus says, what is his role in the NFL? Slot corner. There's no ideal position for Blackman given his limitations, but the slot looks like his best chance to see the field. His willingness as a tackler and his high football IQ can play in the slot.
I think
versatility, maybe.
I think our boy Renner might be underselling him a little bit, because like the reason that I think he overcomes the size on the outside, it's that ability off the line, and he sticks with you in coverage. After that, you can't put him into the situations where the guy can just manhandle him. Like if you have the 6'3", 6'4" muscular guy who can get downfield, that's not the best matchup for him. But like with the other guys, for sure, like he's going to be a problem for the smaller receivers. He's going to stay with the shifty guys for sure, but also off the line again. Every single time you got to work for it against that kid. And talking about Jordan Addison, going back to him, he had to fight Mekhi Blackmon off the line every day in practice. So talking about his ability to get off against press coverage.
So how do we feel now, gentlemen? How do we feel about the cornerback room? So you've got it's a bunch of young dudes. Even the veteran free agent and Byron Murphy that you signed is 25 years old. So he does have a handful of years of NFL experience, but he's only 25 years old. He's kind of the wise old sage in the room. And then you have Andrew Booth Jr., second-round pick last year, Caleb Evans, injury issues for both those guys, and now Makai Blackman as a third-round pick coming in. And then remind me the former second-round pick from the Patriots, you signed him for depth.
Oh, Juwan Williams?
Yeah, so that's a kind of a buy low stock by Kwesi right there.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about that cornerback room?
Way, way better than we did, 25 minutes ago or so?
Okay.
Because now with, obviously, one of the 3 spots taken by Murphy, and now you have the 3 guys to do the battle royale for the other 2 spots. And, I don't think Juwan Williams is going to be a starter or whatever. Like, who knows? Maybe they, after they were able to open up cap space after June 1st, maybe they can do something, try to bring in another guy. That's where you feel way more confident. But, like, the battle royale for the 3 guys, better than just saying Evans and Booth, you're our starters next year. We don't have any contingency plan behind you.
Back to Phil's point, was Blackman, did he play inside in the nickel in college, or is that just a projection of where he could play?
So last year he played 3 snaps in the slot last year. That's
okay, because I got to think that there's a very good chance Murphy's going to start outside, but when they're in nickel, he goes inside, and that is a tough position. I'm not asking a guy. We've seen this before. I'm not asking a guy who has not played there full time to move there. You can't just teach that. It's a different position. It's essentially a hybrid of cornerback and linebacker. Thank you very much. I don't know how I feel about the cornerback room, but what I will say is this: going into the draft, short of a quarterback, which would have been exciting and sexy as far as the pick goes, I said this, and I'll stand by it. I wanted wide receiver. So I was willing to sacrifice potentially a cornerback, because I started out, and I think most of us did, saying that this team needs to draft a cornerback at 23. I eventually pivoted off of that, and I feel better about a team that, by the way, I don't think is a finished product. So it's not like that. It's not like you're this team that's far down the road and you just need one more player, right? So I guess I don't feel great about the cornerback room, but all of that being said, I feel really good about what you did for your offense, which I do think with your head coach and what you have from a personnel standpoint needs to be the priority. That's
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. I was just thinking, I bet at the pick that they were at when they traded down with San Francisco, they were going to take Mekhi Blackmon there. Like, he's a conviction player for sure. And the fit with Flores is so good. I think they just got the player that they would have taken above there. They might say that in the media, but I actually think that that's true. It's like, he's the highest dude on our board. We want this kid, but like probably in between, no one going to take him. So that helps explain that trade a little bit more as well. And, good for them for doing it.
So just I'm keeping tabs on just the young players who have come in, potential starters or key backups versus the players the Vikings have lost here. So even going back like 2 months in the offseason. So the Vikings have said goodbye now to Eric Kendricks in his 30s, Adam Thielen in his 30s, Cam Dantzler, young but just didn't work out, Patrick Peterson in his 30s, Dalvin Tomlinson 29, Duke Shelley, they just didn't buy into him. So they're saying goodbye to all of those starters, many of them past the age of 30. As I fumble my microphone here, broadcast professional.
Wild, just like me.
And they bring in blocking tight end Josh Oliver, 25 years old. Edge rusher Marcus Davenport, 26 years old, I believe. Cornerback Byron Murphy, 25 years old. Dean Lowry as like a depth defensive lineman who I believe is 27 years old. And then in the draft, the first 2 picks, Jordan Addison and Mekhi Blackmon. So it's a big time shift in the age of some of these players on the roster. Obviously, we don't know maybe Mekhi Blackmon has a great offseason and camps and whatnot. I mean, there are starting jobs up for grabs. There's 3 starting cornerback jobs if you count, nickel. And I would say 2 of them are 100% up for grabs. And so there's a chance he could actually be a starter if he impresses and he's healthy and whatnot. But so what do you guys make of the makeover to this point? There's still some draft picks left, and maybe there's a couple signings here and there, but like the bulk of the Vikings remake with their first 2 picks in the draft and the free agency moves, this is it, guys. Like, unless there's a big Trey Lance trade coming in a month or 2, or Dalvin Cook could be on the way out for picks, but this is kind of it. Yeah.
So I think that of the list that you went through of the guys who have departed, the only guy that if they could have afforded to keep him, they would have is Dalvin Tomlinson. Like, I think that's a loss. I'm not saying he was great, but I think he was a solid player. Outside of that, no, I'm fine with it. I love the makeover. It's 3-0 now.
Did they just score? Wait,
at the buzzer.
They just beat the buzzer? No.
Yeah.
Oh my God! They literally scored at the buzzer of the second period.
At the buzzer. Yep.
Oh.
Breakaway by Mason Marchment, who has had an. Anyway, I like what I like what they have done as far as shifting the roster in a different direction. Tomlinson, I think that they would have kept, but for their salary cap problems. But I love the direction of doing what actually Thor at one time Spielman tried to do himself, which is they are really trying to get guys who are either in their first contract or second contract. And once you get past that, and it's harsh, but it's true in football, you start to decline. So I like this. If you're thinking it's going to result in the Super Bowl championship in 2023, unfortunately, you need to put the hookah pipe down.
For sure.
Yeah.
If you guys have a second, I would like to give you the list of cornerbacks who had a higher PFF grade last year than Mekhi Blackmon that are in this draft class. If you just have a minute.
Oh, we have, yeah. Well, I think we get about 5 minutes in us here, and then I think the Judd's Hockey Show crew needs to turn its attention to the burial of the Minnesota Wild.
Periods now. So
okay, well,
go ahead.
You'll have time for
I need
this.
to post Purple Daily.
Devin Witherspoon,
Yes,
nobody else.
Wait,
The fifth pick in this draft.
so
the
Devin
only guy
Witherspoon is
that
the
graded higher
only
than him
player with a
last year.
higher PFF grade.
Correct.
Wow. Interesting. I'm
Yeah.
seeing some really fascinating stuff here too. Like, he'd go out of his way to try and match up with Jordan Addison in practice every day at USC, which is kind of cool.
So they're tight. That's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Here's some analysis from Dame Brugler, NFL analyst from The Athletic. Quote, doesn't get bored. Receivers know they're in for a dogfight when lining up across from Mekhi Blackmon.
Sound like a Brian Flores cornerback to you?
He does, yes. And Brian Flores schematically makes it not boring. You could get bored in that Ed Donashell scheme, right?
That's for sure.
Okay, I'm just going to sit back here and
Oh, what just happened?
See what happens.
That was a long completion.
I like it. I like it on paper here. And so before we say goodbye to you, Thor, and by the way, thanks again for jumping on here.
You got
and just bringing some intelligence to our babbling nonsense on Purple Daily here.
Yeah, it's true.
As you look ahead now, the Vikings so they did pick up an extra pick. So they have 5 picks, I guess, tomorrow. They've got their 4th, a couple 5ths, a 6th and a 7th or something like that.
Yeah.
So who are some guys here that you would have your eye on? The 119, the 158. Who should they be earmarking here?
So I'm going to keep saying Adebaware for sure. Like he didn't go yet in those past couple, did he?
I don't think so. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah. So
no, Cameron Latu, Trey Tucker, Jake Moody, and then Makai Blackman.
Okay. Yeah. We talked about some of the corners there, going lower on guys that we hadn't discussed yet. Offensive line depth, DeJuan Jones, he's a 2nd-round player, the Ohio State right tackle, who would remind folks around here quite a bit of Phil Lodeholt. It's like the same sort of thing, just like a behemoth who's really good, blocking the run. Obviously, tackle's not the biggest thing, but like he also, anyway, like he would just be an objective steal as far as the slot. We brought up Herbig before, talking about the linebacker. You're going to move on from Jordan Hicks after this year. Herbig might even be able to challenge him for playing time right away. So he would be another guy that I would look at. Trying to think if there's any other guy. Well, the other one that we had to running back, right? Like because of, the thing of, I think Dalvin Cook is going to be moving south on June 1st or June 2nd. Roshan Johnson would be a guy to monitor the complimentary back for Bijan Robinson. And in between the tackles, Grinder guy who is really good in pass pro. Israel Abandokonda from Pitt is a home run hitter. Like the straight line speed is just absolutely fabulous with him, super explosive. And then Evan Hall, the local kid, is the guy that I really want because of the receiving versatility. I think he would be a really good fit with the Vikings, the backs that they already have there, complementing their skill sets. And you're going to be able to get Evan Hall a bit later than those other 2 guys. I'd be surprised if Roshan and Israel Abandokonda don't go at the top half of the 4th, whereas Evan Hall, maybe the 5th round you can get him. Who knows? Maybe even the 6th, but like 5th round probably to be comfortable. Those would be the guys I'd look at.
Awesome.
The picks left. Round 4, the Vikings are picking at 119 from the Lions. Round 5, they have 2, 158 and 164. 164 came tonight in the San Francisco trade. Round 6, 211 compensatory pick that they have. And round 7, another one from San Francisco, 222. So 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th.
Go get one. Go get a starter. Go get a starter with one of those 5 picks.
And get Jared Clark, our boy from Coastal Carolina, and platoon him with Tonga in year 1.
Love it.
Are you saying it's Tonga time?
Yeah.
Like Tonga time.
Yeah.
That's a nice player.
Jared Clark's underrated.
That might be a t-shirt. By the way, 15% off. 15% off everything in the Score North and Purple Daily shop. Promo code DRAFT all the way through the weekend, through Sunday. ScoreNorth.com/shop. That's ScoreNorth.com/shop. 15% off using the promo code DRAFT. Thor, awesome stuff, man. Take a bow. You've been great.
Awesome. Thank you. Great job last night, too.
Appreciate
Purple
you,
Daily on draft. You can hear Thor, and we'll get Thor on for one more reckless draft speculation episode to recap everything on Tuesday. And then you can find him also on Purple Daily on draft going forward with Tyler Fornes and Declan and all of his main work at fantasypros.com, bettingpros.com, and his Twitter account is ThorKU. So go give him a follow. All right, sir. Go get a couple hours of sleep and prepare for day 3.
He's chipper, man. He looks great.
You look fresh, man. You look fresh.
You do.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're phased at all. This is your time of year.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, I'm excited to get back up at it. We got a lot of picks coming tomorrow. So
Look at
we'll see
you.
how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, baby.
Day
This is where
3
you
is
make your
is
money.
where the real hardcores I think get their jolt from. So all right, Thor. Appreciate
All right,
it,
boys.
man.
Hey, appreciate you.
And so that puts a bow on I love the Vikings. 4 hours. We'll just make the last pick. Don't worry about us.
And now I see people demanding that Judd's hockey show start immediately. Give me the 3rd period, okay? I got to process this.
All right, yeah, Judd's in the arena here. So
unfortunately.
And Declan has actual work to do.
yeah. So all right, thank you guys for hanging out with us here tonight on this Friday night. The
about the
Minnesota
Lightning?
Vikings have made 2 selections so far, with a handful more tomorrow. And we're going to sign off here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, but you can find Judd's Hockey Show on the Score North YouTube channel after this game is over. Or maybe even if it's 5-0 at some point, maybe you guys do start early. But thank you. Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.